All right, everybody, we're back. Just bear with me a bit. I already warned Crystal. I'm a little not under the weather. I was under the influence last night, so it is hitting me hard today because I realize I'm no longer in my 20s. So, oh yes, but I'm excited to be talking about baseball. So if you look at me and you're like, "Oh, she's wearing her glasses," blah blah blah, is like, yes, because I am I have no motivation to put on contacts.
It's totally fair. I have
Oh
those
my
days. I'm
god.
not even hungover.
All right, yeah. This is one of those it's a lazy Sunday, but we've got baseball to talk about. So once again, Crystal's the MVP with the notes, including we've now subcategorized them because because baseball and injuries are just starting to pile up. And one of the first ones was Bryce Harper did get hit on the hand by Blake Snell. It was a fractured thumb, right? So that's unfortunate for him. He is having a fantastic season for himself. So it's a little bit of a blow, but it was interesting the dynamic that was going on because clearly he was upset because nobody wants to get hit or have your season put on hold. But then Blake Snell being like, "No, like my bad, like I did not mean to do this," and that this is proving to be an issue again. It could be the gripping of the balls that we talked about like last week.
Yeah, I do you think these hit by pitch rates are intentional? That's a good question.
Ooh.
So I would say they are not. I would say
Mm-hmm.
this is a ball issue again. I mean, we had this Bryce Harper, he fractures his thumb with his hit by pitch. The White Sox and Orioles, there were a lot of hit by pitches this weekend, and I don't
Yeah.
think any of them were intentional despite them clearing the bases at one point. I really think it's this ridiculous new ball that they've introduced.
Yeah.
People can't grip it with that spider tack ban. People are gripping even less. The new ball, I feel like it's a nightmare for these pitchers. I don't think any of these are intentional. I mean,
Yeah.
unless maybe you're throwing to Josh Donaldson, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with that. You would only hope that they wouldn't be intentional, and I don't think they are, especially when you got like Blake Snell immediately being like, "My bad, my bad." He's like, why are we out here? I like to believe that we're not out here trying to intentionally hurt each other. So why would they be doing that? It's like you do have the idea of like, oh, I mean, the perfect example is today, the craziness that went on in Anaheim. Like, what? Like, that was insane watching that. I was just like thinking, I was like, oh,
There are going to be so many suspensions. The White
that
Sox
was,
play the Angels tomorrow. They start that
oh,
series.
really? Oh,
I'm
God.
curious to see who's
Who's
left on
playing?
that field tomorrow.
And it was Nevin that like started it, right? Like, what are we doing? Like, grow up. Like, one, grow up. Yeah, who is going to be playing for, the Los Angeles Angels over the next couple of days? But that was one of the most intense fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was for me. The only one I can think of, I think it was like Jose Batista when he was like beating up that poor Gatorade jug. But after that, bench clearing brawl. I don't know. That's been a
Mhm.
couple years back. I'm kind of showing my age here. But yeah, no, that one was intense. I went back and I watched those videos, and like Jeff Bisson's out here tweeting, like, oh, there will be so many
Oh,
suspensions incoming.
yeah.
And,
Also, what was with the person throwing like the entire thing of sunflower seeds like after the fight? It's like that one person that's like 10 minutes later is like, "Yeah, no, F you."
yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
And then someone threw out an entire case of water bottles. So there were
Like,
plenty of jokes about like that's not how you plant sunflowers at home plate. But man,
oh
that
my
was
god.
intense.
Yeah, like what are we doing? Like that's like crazy. I mean, I get like between the two teams because it was the Angels that hit Justin Upton. Also, so weird that like Justin Upton is now fighting the team that he had been on for like years. Um, Hilarious to me. But yeah, it's like there was nothing intentional. Lorenzen even came out and said like I couldn't grip the ball. Like I did. Why I'm not trying to hit Justin Upton in the head with like a 90+ mile an hour fastball. Like that was not what I was intending to do. And so I get that there was a lot going on between the two teams, but it still seems kind of crazy that it would escalate to quite that much.
Yeah. Whew. So in other injury news, we have Ronald Acuna Jr. He's unable to put pressure on his foot. He fouled a ball off his right foot yesterday, so he was pulled from today's game, which, definitely a bummer because he's so good and they're having such a good season. So hopefully it's nothing too serious for their sake.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of the best young players in the game of baseball who had to be out pretty much all of last season. Like he hurt himself in like July or something?
Yeah, it's really early on.
Yeah, so he missed most of last season, couldn't be a part of their World Series run. So, he was eager to get back out there and help defend the title. And then for something like that to happen, that's so unfortunate. Especially Albies is out for a while too. So two of their, young people really
like unfortunate great talent that barely played. Jack Flaherty also exited the game today with a stiff shoulder. He just came back from like a 60-day injured list because he had a lot of shoulder discomfort during spring training. This was only his third start this season, and he had to leave very soon into that game. I think he'd only thrown maybe 40 some odd pitches at that point. So again, another huge bummer.
Yeah. Because Flaherty's good.
Have that devil magic again this year, it seems like. So
yeah, it's unfortunate when people, and then of course Ty France, 10-day IL left shoulder strain after a collision in the 5th inning. MRI revealed a grade 2 flexor strain. It's like ridiculous.
We have some Freddie Freeman coming up soon.
We'll get into it for sure.
We'll circle back there. Think outside the box.
Absolutely. So Ty France, like it's unfortunate that we just have all of these injuries mounting. It is baseball, like it's par for the course, but it's still especially France has been having a great season too. So, you hate to see anybody, sort of have to take a little step back because of it.
Yeah. And then we've got 2 ACL tears so far. Daniel Hudson, he's a reliever. He tore his ACL on Friday and is out for the rest of the season. And then Danny Mendick, who came up for the White Sox because of all of the injuries that have been happening. Also, and he's been great. He's been like they've had him leading off when Tim Anderson is in the game. He's been amazing. Tore his ACL and he's out. After a collision at home plate. He went down. He was assisted off the field. It sucks because he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah, no, that's super unfortunate. Especially ACLs just seem to be so brutal. And like obviously that's what it takes so long to come back from that. Like, you tear your ACL, you're out for the rest of the season. And that's absolutely unfortunate. Salvador Perez will undergo surgery to repair the UCL ligament in his left thumb. He is expected to return this season per the Royals. All right, well, I mean, I guess that's good that, like, at least somebody can, actually not have to have their season ruined, like, by injury.
Watch the Sox for a month and you'll know how. You need to hush your mouth, Billy. I have to cover this team. That's my husband, ladies and gentlemen.
He's having a little fun.
He does. Our marriage is just trolling each other back and forth.
That's the beauty of a happy marriage.
It is. So that sucks. Also, I didn't add this. James McCann just came back.
Oh, okay.
He did just recently have surgery, but that was a really quick turnaround, and he's back and catching again, and hopefully will remain healthy because I loved him. I was very sad when the White Sox got rid of him, but now he's on the other team I watch, so that's good. Yeah,
no, that's great. It's nice that, like, if you have multiple, like, second favorite, third favorite, and somebody that you really like goes to that team, it's like, oh yeah, I'm still happy to be rooting for you. and I mean, you'd still root for their success anyways, but it's also extra nice when it's like a team that you really like.
Yeah.
And
You
you're
can
like,
see them.
also Glaber, another last minute injury before we move on from injuries. Glaber Torres, geez, I can speak well. Glaber Torres actually, like, I'm not exactly sure. I didn't follow up on it, but the Yankees in the bottom of the ninth, they tied it up 3-3, and then of course Aaron Judge, they go on to win. But anyways, when it was a strike him out, throw him out, he was trying to get back to third, back to third, and he like twisted his knee, I think, and he went down, and it looked like he was in a lot of pain. I was just like, it's crazy. There's something as simple as just like a little bit of a movement, and you can just, I don't know, blow your knee out. It's absolutely crazy. A human body is fragile.
Again, everybody needs to start doing yoga.
True. Honestly, stay limber out there.
Move on to trades and whatnot.
Sounds good.
The Phillies, this is kind of a sad but kind of a fun story at the same time. They called up their former first rounder, Mark Appel, after nearly a decade in the minors. Before his call up on Friday, he was one of only 5 former first round overall picks who had not reached the majors.
Wow.
He did come in. Someone had to go on the COVID-19 IL, so he was in for that. But man, 10 years of service time in the minors before you finally get your call up because someone has COVID.
But I mean, I guess good for him sticking with this throughout everything. But yeah, I'm trying to see who. All right, so he went first overall to the Astros. So he went ahead of Bryant.
Yeah, he did.
That's there's a little bit, interestingly enough, this isn't the most stacked. So Mark Appel went 1-1, Bryant 1-2, but then we had like John Gray. I didn't realize he was a 3rd overall pick.
Yeah, that class was pretty weak in my opinion, aside from Chris Bryant. But even then, he can't always stay healthy.
Oh, this was one of the Red Sox worst ever picks of all time because they're number 7. They had the 7th overall pick that year. They took Trey Ball. Trey Ball never made the majors.
No.
I have no idea what it was. They took him as, I believe, a pitcher. I think it's what it was. Let me double check. Yes, as a left-handed pitcher. And what ended up happening was he was so bad, he had absolutely like no control, that they were like, let's just try to like make you a hitter now. So then he attempted to like try to hit and couldn't hit. And it's just historically known as one of the worst picks the Red Sox have ever had. The Red Sox, because usually historically a very good team, they don't really get a pick that high usually. So that's like why 2020 was such a, after that season and getting, just being complete and utter trash, they were able to get, the 4th overall pick, but in essence, really getting what everybody thought was going to be the 1-1. But, money concerns, the Pirates went with the catcher instead of going with Marcelo Meyer. So yay for that. But yeah, this was a whiff. This was a whiff by the Red Sox in that one. But hey, your boy Tim Anderson went 17. See, that's the thing. Yeah, is just seeing people like after that. Like the Red Sox could have taken Tim Anderson. The Red Sox could have taken Austin Meadows. They could have just got so many other people. But this is like, honestly, outside of like Anderson, Meadows, and Bryant, this is really a terrible draft.
Yeah, definitely.
Weird. I mean, it happens sometimes, but yeah, that's bad. But so good for Mark Appel. I hope he can be a diamond in the rough. But yeah, like you said, it was just for that. He's probably going to go back down. But, maybe he'll get his chance at some point to prove it. Oh, yeah, 10 years. Whew, shit. Crazy. All right, and then we have some other news. The Giants acquired outfielder Willie Calhoun in cash considerations in exchange for Steven Duggar. Calhoun requested a trade from the Rangers on May 5th. Oh, poor Rangers fans just in general, because that looked like they were really trying to build themselves a decent team. But again, they just went about being like, let's get all this offense and overpay for it. Crazy. And then get no pitching. Did they get John Gray? They did. I think they did get.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, but still, John Gray's whatever. It's not like you could have gone out and got somebody a lot better, but they didn't. They were really trying to do offense over, pitching, but Yeah.
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 They did end up DFAing Willie Calhoun about a month later after he had requested for that trade.
Oh, really?
They did. I think like June 7th. So yeah, just a little over a month. They sent him out, so the Giants picked him up, which, good for them.
Yeah.
But they also took the Giants really have everybody that I love because they already have Carlos Rodon, and he picked up Yermin Mercedes off of waivers.
Great.
And they started him today. I haven't checked in on that game, but good for him. Get some playing time.
Absolutely. And you get to deal with Gabe Kapler instead of Tony La Russa. So that is definitely more exciting for him. He'll have a lot more fun for sure. All right. And then there's some more White Sox news too. The Diamondbacks brought Dallas Keuchel up after signing a minor league deal after the DFA from the White Sox. And in his first start, he pitched 4 innings with 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts against the Tigers. The Tigers' offense is terrible.
It is.
So this is just how not good Dallas Keuchel is anymore.
The Diamondbacks are last time I checked, a couple of minutes ago, they are up 11-6. Which, again, shows how bad the Tigers can be. But, man, I was kind of happy to see that news about Dallas Keuchel because I'm petty.
Oh, I'm one of the most petty people ever, so yeah. All right. Well, we do have some Freeman news upcoming too. Clayton Kershaw hopes Freddie Freeman is still acclimating with the Dodgers after leaving Atlanta. Freddie got his World Series ring this week and was highly praised upon his return. Kershaw, he's obviously been a big contributor for our team, and I hope we're not second fiddle. It's pretty special over here too. That's kind of a weird thing to say.
It is because, and we're talking about Freddie Freeman. He did have such a great year in Atlanta. That was kind of his home for quite some time. And they really honored him. They were talking about the montage that was really nice and well done. And everyone loved him. Everyone cheered for him. And he seemed incredibly happy to be back in Atlanta. And I get that because you do kind of form this special bond, even though I feel like there was a lot of drama with Freddie Freeman too. He seemed to not get along with very many people in that clubhouse that were not, let's just say, white dudes like him.
That's so strange.
Yeah. And I do kind of understand where Clayton Kershaw is coming from because it can kind of suck watching your teammate who is doing great with you and you were really excited about just have all of this happiness returning to Atlanta and celebrating. And I get it, I guess, but
I get it to a point, but you have to also understand his entire career there. A part of me actually truly doesn't believe that he wanted to leave. I think because things came out about, that trade to get Olsen happened before Freddie signed anywhere. Yeah. So, and I think money plays it, but I think it's you see that, and then you see, they got in essence a younger, better version of me. I clearly don't have a role on this team anymore, so I'm just gonna go home. And he did that, so he's now a Dodger. But it's interesting because it's you have such a connection there, and you literally just won a World Series with your old team. So, and you're returning there for the first time to receive your ring. So part of me is I would just be happy to see how happy he is. And the idea of being oh, I hope we're not second fiddle. I don't know. That just feels like a weird comment to me. Mm-hmm. You don't have to come out and say anything, or you could just be wow, what a great moment for Freddie.
Yeah.
I would be so excited to know that Atlanta did something like that for somebody who gave so much to that city and literally won a championship and helped them win this championship. So I don't know. I'd just be wow, this is really cool. I think this is awesome. Anytime people come back to Fenway, anytime Brock Holt came back, the fans just love Brock Holt, but it's it was never he looked so happy to be back at Fenway, like playing baseball. It didn't matter that he wasn't on the Red Sox anymore. And the idea of like being like, oh, look at Brock being happy. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
what it is with Andrew McCutchen. He's been on so many teams since the Pirates.
Yeah.
But every single time he goes back to PNC, they give him a standing ovation when announced.
Mm-hmm.
They cheer for him at every single at bat. Like, he's just one of those players that fans really loved, and clearly, Pittsburgh felt great about him. So I think that Atlanta should celebrate Freddie Freeman, and I think it should be okay. And maybe he does like being out on the Dodgers, and that's his own thing for him to figure out. Let's see.
Yeah.
Olsen moved to Atlanta. Does the Story signing feel similar? What if? Oh, this is a good one for you, Bailey.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think so, because I believe he settled beautifully into second base. He's arguably one of the best defensive second basemen now, and that was incredible how quickly that actually happened. I think it's a little different. I think the Red Sox need to prioritize Devers over Bogart still, and I am one of the biggest Bogart stans just in general. I don't want to see him in any other uniform, and it really comes down to how much Xander is willing to work with the Red Sox when it comes to like numbers, when it comes to figures. Mm-hmm. I don't think they should lowball him. He already signed a team-friendly deal. He has that opt-out. It's Scott Boras, so it's gonna cost you more money, but it really has to be on both people thinking like, okay, you're going to be on the wrong side of 30. How many years are we thinking? How many AAVs are we thinking? If it's something like reasonable, if he's looking more like about 20, I think to me, he's like a $27, $28 million a year player. I don't think he's 30, but a team would probably give him 30. So it really comes down to whether or not he wants to stay. I think really everything is truly in, Devers and Bogey for life in Boston. Make it. Yeah, I mean, I would love to have the left side of the infield be like that for their entire careers, absolutely. But I still prioritize Devers over Bogarts. He's younger, he's better. Like, those are just two facts. And again, I love Bogarts. And it is, I don't necessarily think that getting Story was like, oh, well, there's the boot, like there's the door, Xander. I think it's more like it's insurance that if Xander does leave, it's like Brad wants to come in and chat, I guess. All right, let's bring him in for a second. All right. Hello, Brad.
Hey, how we doing, ladies?
Hi.
Well, how are you doing?
I did not realize you guys were doing a show, and I saw it on, and I was like, are they still recording?
Well, we'll bring you on for a second.
Hey, how we doing?
Well, you could talk about this for a second. We got asked a question by I think Outside the Box that do we feel that Trevor Story feels a lot like the Olsen move that they did with getting Freddie Freeman at Atlanta? Do we feel that? I don't necessarily feel that it's like a replacement, but how do you feel about it?
For Xander?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think so.
I think that way too many people are seeing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Story has made it very clear as soon as he joined the Red Sox that he was focused on second base, and that is where he wants to be. There's been plenty of chances. Bogey has had days off and whatnot where there could have been chances for Story to move on over, and instead they went with someone like Arroyo, even Kike. So I don't see that as like a replacement yet. We still don't know what could happen next year. But as of right now, I don't see it as a replacement.
Yeah, same. I agree. I mean, well, yeah.
I mean, personally, I still feel that Bogey, they're going to get something done with Bogey.
I do too. I really do. Because like I was just saying, it really comes down to him wanting to work it out with the Red Sox.
I don't think Bogey's going to get $30 million.
No, I don't think he's a $30 million a year player. Love him.
But there's no way we could sign him for $30 million and then sign Devers. Devers is worth it.
The money.
Unfortunately, Xander is not.
No. All righty.
Have you guys already talked about the Yankees?
Not yet.
No.
I'm here.
Yeah, I don't understand how the Yankees are as good. as they are. That's pretty much.
It's the cheating lab. I mean, come on, they got Beltran and Gonzalez.
It's true. They're telling him something up in there. It's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, we of course had the Red Sox sweep the Guardians. So now we have a little 7-game winning streak going on in Boston. So very happy about that. This team is good. You know, it's so funny that like if you really look at the Yankees have been just so good that's why we're still like 10 out of our division.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really like look at
11.
it for 11 now,
it's still 11.
11 gross. I don't
But
like it.
we are 1.5 ahead in the wild card standings. We have taken first place.
Yay.
So.
I said it last year. They're a wild card team. I think they're better than they were last year.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Yeah, absolutely. Still do. And if you really look at like the standings, like they're up there with one of the best teams in baseball. It's just the Yankees are just playing out of their minds right now. To the point again, it doesn't make sense.
If they were an If they were an American League Central team, they'd be a first place team.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, you're gonna say something, Crystal?
Oh, I was just gonna say the Yankees are gonna come to a lull. We're already kind of starting to see it. Aaron Judge is obviously going to continue to be a monster, but I feel like that it's coming down a little bit.
I don't know. Like seriously, like the kind of vibes I'm getting from this 2022 Yankees team. It's the 2018 Red Sox.
I get.
They were both Red Sox were a juggernaut in 2018.
Oh, they were for sure.
And you cannot say that the Yankees right now are not a juggernaut.
No, they are absolutely
are.
Yeah, and I hate every minute of it. But it still doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And seeing them get no hit was fantastic.
The Red Sox got no hit 2018 as well.
Yeah, who cares?
Like the similarities suck.
Yeah, but we got no hit by one pitcher who was way better than anybody that the Astros were throwing at them the other day. And we got no hit in like the tundra of hell that is like the Coliseum.
Yeah.
So like a lot of like the 20 and I'm pretty sure some people weren't in our lineup. I don't think Betts played in that game. I think so some of our better people weren't even like the Yankees threw out their lineup, even though their lineup, this is why it still doesn't make sense to me. If you really look at their lineup, outside of Aaron Judge playing like out of his frigging mind, it doesn't make sense that all of a sudden Anthony Rizzo looks like he's like 28-year-old Anthony Rizzo, like all like, you know, that he's like playing like, what is he like? He's like what, 34 or something, 33, 34, and he's playing like he's in his early 20s. It's like crazy to me. It makes absolutely no sense. So a lot of them are just playing way above their heads. That's the reason I think that they're going to come down. When you look at the 2018 Red Sox, like that lineup was incredible from like top to bottom. And they, you know, and it wasn't like, oh yeah, Betts had the best season of his entire life. But outside of that, everybody else just had like really good seasons overall because they're really good players. Like, I don't know, like Isaiah kind of for Leffer, like Donaldson, like Hicks, like I'm waiting for the chips to fall because none of those names make me go, ooh, like, you know? Whereas, like, in 2018, you had J.D. Martinez, you had Mookie Betts, you had Xander Bogaerts, you had Rafael Devers. Like, these are great players, you know? Aaron Hicks, like, come on. Yeah. That's sort of how I feel about that.
I can't wait to see the Yankees in the playoffs.
Oh, and then they lose in the first round. I love it.
Well, it'll end up being – so the way that they're doing it, I believe it's the last place wildcard team plays the second best record team or whatever. So like right now, the Twins would be facing the Blue Jays, and then like the Red Sox would have three games against like the Rays or something like that. Then that team would go on and face the Yankees. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's getting convoluted, I feel like.
I don't know how I feel about this third wild card team.
Yeah, it's the whole setup is strange. I mean, I miss the days of just like 8 teams and then you got in. Like, I don't like, I get the playoff has like revenue, like, you know, oh, there's more playoffs and like these 1-game playoffs are like exciting for people and things like that. I hate it. It's stressful. I don't like it.
It is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
they threw it in there so that they could get the players to agree to it, so that they can make more money. It's annoying, but that's what happened.
Oh,
Speaking of
absolutely.
weird revenue, Peacock is going to stream a Royals Tigers game next month without announcers.
That is very
What?
strange.
Yeah, I hate it. I
Is it
hate
like
this idea.
are we
That's
supposed
literally going to get 0 views.
yeah,
Well, and
or
I read about it, and they were
yeah.
saying people like this, and I'm like,
I
who?
mean,
Who
must
did
be
you interview?
the
Yeah,
people.
who are people?
These people must be Tigers and Royals fans.
And like, what a bummer game to watch. Even, I mean, this is giving Reds Cubs Field of Dreams vibe. Like, nobody wants to watch that, and nobody wants to watch it with absolutely no announcers.
So is it supposed to give the feel as if you're at the game? Is that sort of what the vibe they're going
Yeah,
for?
it's kind of the vibe. Apple TV did like one inning of no announcers, I think like 2
Uh,
weekends ago. And it was
can I
weird.
ask you? Can I ask you two ladies a question?
Sure.
What are your thoughts on the Apple Apple games?
Okay, it is beautifully shot. And the woman that used to work at Deadspin, I like her. The other two, I can't listen to them.
Yeah, I actually haven't watched an Apple game yet. My schedule's
Good
just
for
been
you.
my schedule's been crazy, so I haven't been able to, watch baseball as live as I would like. So usually I'll catch things, sometimes when it's archived in, MLB TV. So I haven't really seen the I guess the Apple TV
So,
I
so
only
I got
watch when the White Sox are playing it.
playing it. Yeah.
I got two things to say. One about the Apple TV and one about the archives. Apple TV, like you said, Crystal, beautifully shot. I think it's just terribly announced.
Yeah.
I
Who's
don't know.
announcing? Do we know?
They have two separate group or teams or whatever.
Oh.
I know there was one. I don't know who they were, but Hunter Pence was in one of them,
Oh. That's
and I
interesting.
thought it was terrible. And then I don't know who was calling the Red Sox game, but I literally had to mute it and put WEEI on it.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that EEI is bad. I'm just saying like the broadcast was just terrible, beautifully shot. But yeah, I'm all set with that. And the fact like you have somebody like myself who doesn't do Apple, like to sign up for it is a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm. So it's Melanie Newman doing play-by-play. Chris Young, who is an analyst, he can be insufferable.
No.
Anna Kaiser is an analyst. I like her. She's the one that used to work at Deadspin. She's got some cool pink hair. She's fine. And then Brooke Fletcher is another reporter. And again, everyone but Hannah is insufferable.
Is it Chris Young, the ex-player?
Yes.
Oh,
he was terrible.
Yeah, he's really bad.
Some guys, it's like because I think he works on MLB Network, and that's such a different like vibe than being in the booth and calling a game and trying to, not everybody can do it. Like I love Johnny Gomes. He's such a personality. He's terrible in the booth.
He is. I absolutely love Gomes, but man, you put that dude in the booth, I'm just like mute.
Yeah, so you're trying to, and the Red Sox obviously because of the loss of Jerry Remy, they've been trying out like multiple people in the booth, and sometimes it's really working. I really like Kevin Youkilis a lot in the booth. I do. I think he's good. You don't like him?
No.
Oh,
I'm gonna have a hot take here. I actually like Tony Maserati in the booth.
Maz isn't terrible because like the problem with Maz knows the sport. The problem with Tony Maserati, he is a local guy and he has Belger and Maz, and it's like a daytime talk show about sports. So he's always just been like a negative person. That's the persona that he has on Felger and Maz. It's negativity about everything. And he used to write for the Boston Globe and write about baseball. So like he knows it. He's a very knowledgeable person, and he's bringing that knowledgeable in at Neston now without being negative. So it's a nice change.
I love how sometimes people like, Yeah, I've got some thoughts on that, but we might just want to keep that to myself or something like that. He's been pretty funny. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't like him. I know when they announced him as one of the people in the booth, I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. I can't believe that they're doing this. Yada yada yada. He's terrible. And then like the first game, I was like, okay, he wasn't terrible. Then the second game, I was just like, I don't hate him. And then like now it's just like, okay, his voice is a little annoying.
Yeah, he doesn't have a great voice, and it's like, oh, okay.
But I mean, like, who am I to say somebody doesn't have a great voice?
Yeah, some people just do, and they're great at it. You know, the Hawk Harrelson, like I loved Hawk's voice. Like there's certain people like I love, like Remy was great. He had a great voice, things like that. But I've really enjoyed all of the new people that they've actually put in places, because you're never going to replace Remy, but you're trying out new people, and I like it. Like they bring in Kevin Millar for a few games, so it's great that. And then they sometimes will do a 3-man with Eckersley. Sometimes it's like Eckersley, Millar, and then O'Brien. I'm not a big fan of Dave O'Brien, though. I've never been a fan of Dave O'Brien. The idea of like getting rid of Don Orsillo and replacing him with something inferior is like.
Well, you can't. I've come to the conclusion you can't hate Dave O'Brien for that, because that wasn't his.
No, that's not on him.
I
I just don't think he can call a great game.
No, he's not to like just take over and be all Red Sox here and whatnot, but O'Brien actually has not been too terrible lately. He's actually had some decent calls.
Maybe
he's
more
exciting. There is one thing I do have to say that I did not like about some of the broadcasts this year. Kevin Millar being in Texas while the guys are in Boston.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's just not
yeah, that
all.
was like sort of the separation during like 2020, when they were all like in the hub and none of them were at the actual game. So like you got really wonky calls and things like that because they weren't seeing it. They were watching it on monitors. They're not there live experiencing it. I mean, it gave us the hilarity of Sterling and thinking like every ball that Giancarlo Stanton hit was gone, and then being completely confused.
Wait, what did I do wrong? What did I say wrong?
Wait, yeah, what? It's not. No. That was caught on the warning track. Like things like that were funny for sure. But yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see a game without any people there talking about the game. Are we just going to be hearing the crowd? So I'm just going to be like, you're just hearing crowd noise? Like,
yes, yeah. I hope that a lot of people like swear into hot mics.
Yes.
So that's all it is. Also, we have some Lynn Casper hate in the comments, which I don't appreciate as a lover of Lynn Casper. His voice is soothing. I listen to his podcast with Jason Benetti.
So,
Bailey, I have one for you. Do you use TikTok at all?
I don't TikTok. I feel like
okay.
I'm old.
So I do use TikTok because some of the stuff is hilarious.
Oh yeah, people do it for like scroll.
Yeah, so I came across a TikTok earlier today that did the Nick Castellanos.
I did see that.
And runs left or whatever.
Yes.
And the Woo Sox posted a Pedro Castellanos home run that was being called. He was like, I call myself a religious man, and that's a deep fly ball to left, and that's a home run for Nick Castellanos. And I thought it was so hilarious. I posted it in the chat if you hadn't seen it.
Oh, I did see it. It was pretty funny. Like that's funny. And also that whole situation, did that happen in 2019? Like when did that felt like it was so long ago, but it also felt like it just happened. Like that wasn't during when did that happen?
It was last year.
Was it 2021? I wasn't sure.
Last year.
Okay, because I was like, it felt, because I didn't know if it was pre or post COVID. Really, I was.
Oh, it was August 19th, 2020.
Oh, it happened in 2020. Oh, because was he? I thought he was at the game, or he may have been in studio.
He was in studio.
One, you don't say homophobic things, but two, just maybe also realize when your mic's on.
I mean, just don't say homophobic things and you don't have to worry about anything,
True. But just like my thing is like, if you're trying to, even if it was like, unfortunately it was homophobic, but it would have been more hilarious if you said something like embarrassing about himself and not realizing. So it's like the idea of like, be cognizant of certain things too. It's like, okay. what are we doing here? But then we have the Blue Jays hitting coach Guillermo Martinez suspended 5 games and fined for making contact with an ump during the lineup card exchange on Wednesday. The umpire, Doug Eddings, was behind home plate the night before, and both the Blue Jays and White Sox took issue with the strike zone. So I'm sure you were watching that, Crystal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how did that play out?
I think I might have been even covering that game. If you follow the White Sox, not the White Sox, the umpire scorecards, it was brutal.
Terrible.
His strike zone accuracy was 66%.
That's terrible.
Which is probably the worst I've ever seen it.
Is that worse than Angel Hernandez?
Yeah, it is. It was really bad, and both teams were getting a ton of terrible calls the entire night. It was frustrating to watch. It was frustrating to cover, and I don't blame them for giving him shit. I would have too.
Yeah.
I would have also been suspended because it was so bad.
See, that's the problem, is that these umpires are just so bad.
You know that Martinez literally went into that. He was like, no, I'm giving the scorecard out, and he had one objective, and he obtained it. It was hilarious.
He nailed it. So that's good for him, honestly.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Did you see the Angels-Mariners fight earlier today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Briefly touched on that towards the beginning.
I don't know who it was, but someone chucked all of the sunflower seeds.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
Who it was either. I was trying to figure it out, and I was like, oh, I didn't recognize him. So I was like, oh, yeah. Also, after the fight, it was there's a fight, and then it's that one person that wants to come back for that final blow. That doesn't make any sense.
I want to see who gets suspended for this.
I'm really excited about who gets suspended on the Angels. I'm kind of hoping maybe Mike Trout was involved because the White Sox go to the Angels tomorrow.
Come on, do you think Mike Trout was involved in that?
That might be our only chance at winning even a game in that series.
All right. The season that Mike Trout is having is not getting the attention because Aaron Judge is hitting home runs. Mike Trout is better. Mike Trout has literally a 193 WRC plus. He should get the MVP. Home runs, cool. Mike Trout is having a better season than Aaron Judge.
Judge is going to end up winning it.
And it's stupid.
If he keeps up this pace, he's going to win it.
Mike Trout is still better at everything. It's just not home runs. That's it. Literally everything else. He's got his OPS is almost his on base is almost 400. Mike Trout is absolutely unreal. It's the fact that he only has, I've discussed this with people, the fact that he only has 3 MVPs is he should have more. There's been multiple times where he should have won. The year that Cabrera won the Triple Crown, literally the only reason he won it is because it was the first time since 1967 Trout had a better season. It's just things like that. That's oh, okay.
Judge also hasn't been hurt.
Yeah,
he hasn't been on the IL.
That's true.
So, if he stays healthy, he's definitely going to end up winning. I still love seeing, I hate the fact that the Yankees are winning, but I love seeing that Judge is playing himself out of New York.
Oh, yeah. And he even, they asked him, they were like, is there any movement? And his response was no. Just a straight no.
The fact that they were seconds away from going to arbitration, that's not a good look. He took also 19 million.
Yeah, Betts got more from the Red Sox, but they had to go to arbitration with him. And I think he ended up getting 20 in that arbitration. But yeah, no, and then 19, this boy's about to be making 30 mil. Yeah, easily. Let's hope it's in San Francisco.
Everybody in the comments, please tell us where you think Aaron Judge will end up next season, since they just barely avoided that arbitration hearing.
Yeah, so true.
Well, I appreciate you ladies having me on. I was just checking in real quick. I didn't expect to actually come on. I have to actually get ready to do another episode with Ed.
All right, go have fun. I love Ed. Give my love to Ed. I got a podcast with Ed soon. It's been a while.
Yeah, I saw that you guys haven't been doing it too much lately.
It's just I've been so freaking crazy with work.
All right, ladies, enjoy the rest of the show.
All righty, bye. Yeah, no, absolutely. And then the next thing that we have is Mike Trout's good friend Shohei Ohtani, also having a great season for himself. He had an 8 RBI a night and then followed it with a career best 13 strikeouts against the Royals. So yeah, that puts him in a different league. I still think that Mike Trout is the best player in baseball.
He is.
But Ohtani gets that like being close to it because he does both, and he doesn't just do both okay. He excels at both. I still think he's a better hitter than he is a pitcher, but like you can't deny like he's also a really good pitcher.
Yeah, I mean 13 strikeouts, it's nothing to scoff at.
Not at all. It's not like he's assing his way through it. Like he is extremely successful at both of them. But I still like Mike Trout is the best player in Major League Baseball, and I don't know how some people think there's a debate. That's fine. You know, you want to debate it, but
I'm gonna jump ahead really fast since we're on this strikeout talk.
Yes.
Dylan Cease did collect his career high 13 strikeouts today.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
We got a win, so that's good.
Still almost blew that game. They almost had a 4-game sweep against the Orioles. But hey, Dylan Cease was showing ace-like stuff. I would almost rather give him the money that Lucas Giolito is asking for at this point, because Lucas has kind of been a bum lately. But yeah,
is he looking for big money?
Yeah, he wants $200 million.
He's not that good.
He's not. He's really not. That whole spider tack thing really damaged his
I want to see what his biggest Geo. And like imagine going from like at one point, wasn't it like 2018 he was like the worst pitcher in baseball?
Worst pitcher in baseball.
Yeah. So and now you think you're worth $200 million. That's
and he's
hilarious.
not, because again, that spider again. Yeah, you looking at his ERA right now?
Oh my God. It's everything. It's not even like everything's bad. It's a 5.40 ERA, 5.23 expected ERA, a 5.07 FIP. And he literally, his WAR is 0.
Yeah.
Worth nothing. Yeah. And you think that you deserve $200 million?
No, not when you have Dylan Cease and Michael Kopech on your team. You no longer deserve that $200 million. Somebody else deserves that a lot more. And I'm gonna just flat out say it might really be Dylan Cease at this point. He might be their ace, which
you never thought you'd see that.
Unnerving, right? Coming from my mouth, but
really good season for him. His ERA and his FIP are almost identical. Actually, he's got a 2.6 ERA and his FIP's 2.58, 2.2 WAR. Like, yeah, he's having a great season for himself. That's somebody that if you could. But then the problem is, it's like I want to see it a little more consistent before I'm going to be investing that kind of money in it. But I look at like what Giolito is doing, and I've been like, okay, cool. So let's see. So what it was 2018, right? Where it was
2018, Lucas Giolito.
Let's see exactly what that all was. So 2018, it was, well, he's getting close to that terrible territory right now with the 540 he's rocking. Like he had a decent, but we're talking like 2020 was good, but again, that's also 2020. His 2019 was really good, but it's like a 3.4 ERA. That to me still isn't ace money.
No,
like I don't think that's ace territory, and he's looking for ace money. Like I'm sorry, that's like with Eduardo Rodriguez. Like you're a 3, and he got paid like a 3. So like that's probably sort of the money that Giolito's looking at, is sort of like a. Maybe even like he's pitching like a 5 though. So.
Yeah, he honestly might be the worst starter in that rotation right now. I mean, when Michael Kopech, Dylan Cease, and Johnny Cueto are out acing you at every turn,
yeah,
you might not be so great. Lance Lynn is back too now. So,
great, that's good.
It's going to be a rough go for Lucas.
So we have Austin Hayes became the 6th Oriole in franchise history to hit for the cycle. So it's always exciting. I love a good cycle. It's crapshooty sometimes too, but I love it. Like Brock Holt, is the only person with like a postseason one. And the ridiculousness of it. Yes, and he's had at least 2 cycles in his career. He had one that he definitely deserved. It's not like he didn't deserve it, but the fact is that the last thing he needed to get was a home run, and he did it off a position player because the Red Sox were just demolishing the Yankees in that game. So it's like kind of funny.
I wish I had been in a different series personally. Like they could have saved that for their next series, but it's okay. I have no actual hatred towards the Orioles at all. So it is what it is.
True. We got some Astros news. They kept the Yankees down after combined no-hitter. And the Yankees unfortunately had a 3-run walk-off home run from, their best player, Aaron Judge. But they were also no-hit for most of that game, too.
Yeah, just about until Aaron Judge decided to do what he does best.
Annoy me.
A 3-run walk-off homer in the 10th. And I did read that was the 10th walk-off home run this season. So
really fun. What is? All right, let's see how many he's got right now. It's crazy. He's had 27 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's gonna go blow well past his 2017 52.
Right. In New York, I read this yesterday. Pete Alonso has his 69th RBI. Very nice.
Nice. Damn, he's putting a good season together for himself. That's exciting. How many RBI does Judge have right now? 53. Oh, wow. So
have more.
Let's see. Maybe this hasn't updated because this says he has 53 as of now. But then again, that could have been not updated to the 3 he had today. But yeah, so let's see what else we got. Anything we touched? I think we pretty much hit on almost everything, right? Because we did talk about the Angels brawl.
Trying to read what this. So I just left my home in Seattle and back in Phoenix, but the Tacoma
Rainiers, I think. Yeah,
there we go. Have thoughts.
Oh.
Also, I heard commentators saying that challenge ball strike is coming. I'm really conflicted about robot umps.
Same. You're losing the human element, truly, I believe. Like it is you get frustrated when you see how terrible. My thing is like, be better at your freaking job.
Yeah. I don't want them. I mean, there are moments in a game where I'm really mad and like it was a clear strike and it wasn't called as such, and I demand robot umpires, but I don't think I ever genuinely mean that.
Yeah, same. We can just get frustrated with everything, but you're losing the complete human element of the game. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
But
all right. I think that really wraps it up. We covered everything that I can think of, everything I saw this week. So,
that's this week in baseball from your Soxy chicks.
We do appreciate the comments.
Yes. Thank you for joining in with us today. That was exciting to get some people think outside the box. Of course, Billy, thank you.
I don't know.
Thanks for trolling. But yeah, so thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your days.
Bye.